right, so we're going to get started with strategic pricing and discounting. Thank you for sitting in on another session. We have a fair amount to cover, so we're going to do a little bit on price trends, pricing strategies, discounting options, pricing for groups and participation, pricing for loyalty, and then some of the best practices that we see. So pricing trends. This gives you a good idea of the increases that we're seeing in prices by distance compared to 2019. So you can actually go and see, as an example, mid-year 2022, almost everything is up except for ultra distance compared to 2019. So the ultra distance has had a 12% drop. Marathon is about even, just slightly up. And then almost everything up is up around 10%, probably average when you blend it all together, including triathlon. So that obviously is showing you guys that there is this inflation, and we'll talk about that a little bit and where we're seeing it and why we're seeing it. Obviously, you know, it's variable based on distance, and your costs are a major input on why those prices are going up. So what we did see was a slow and steady price increase between 2016 and 2019. And then there was a pretty significant drop from 2020 and 21, where the influx of virtuals came in. And because there was no permitting fees and no, logistics to put on those events, the overhead was pretty low. And therefore the prices dropped basically to a pretty average price across all virtuals that we saw. There were a handful that did a massive amount of swag that had a higher price. So anyway, that impacted longer races, especially. A longer race traditionally might have had a much higher price point, and then it dropped down to an average price point compared to a 10K. In 2022, we've actually seen the virtual percentages drop off, and therefore price pressure hits, and we're starting to see those prices increase. The increases in costs for municipality costs for permitting, the giveaway costs, marketing costs were mentioned earlier. Lower participation numbers are also driving down margins, so therefore your costs are higher, so you're trying to make up for it with a higher price point. So there's still likely still some impact on ultras due to the virtual challenges. So there's a fair amount of people that did the ultras that are also doing virtual challenges still to this day. And some of our more popular race directors that do ultras are still putting on challenges with large numbers. So therefore those participants aren't as interested. Some unconventional registration patterns that we're seeing. One of the things that we hear consistently is that late registration is up, and that is not what we're seeing. So pretty consistently at the very top, you'll see 24, 24, 26, 25. Now, mid-year through this year, we've actually seen a drop of 7% for a week of registration. And that's just across the industry. That's all of our data. That's 3.5 million data points that we're seeing. And that is just what we're reporting back in these numbers. I see a lot of shaking heads of what we're not seeing. I look at some very large races and it doesn't say this to me, but this is mid-year. So this is literally year to date versus 21. And obviously you can see some of the changes that we're seeing. People are signing up a lot earlier. So part of the impact of why these may be incorrect, just real quick, is that we had a lot of people that are starting to come back to in-person. So they literally could be signing up for next year's race that are influencing this, because we expect the industry to start getting back to a regular 2019 type of number. So your early signups could actually be much higher because 2021 were so far down for in-person. So that could be a part of the influence. No, so deferrals, it could be impacted by deferrals. we don't believe that there's that much deferrals left in 22 compared to 21. 21, so many of the deferrals were taken care of. Now, there are some races that had significant deferrals or were not able to do 21, but most of the deferrals were really used from 2020 and 21. So back to the unconventional registration patterns, we believe it's impacted by early registrations for longer distances. So for instance, marathons are going to have a lot more people signing up early, as you can see in the chart. There's still some lingering impact from deferrals and date changes. So that's the other thing that we've seen a fair amount of, is that a lot of organizations moved their event to try and actually put it on in 21. That caused a change in pattern on registrations. So that is another potential. And then even 5Ks, late registrations are down. So that is another thing that is sort of a sign for us that we believe that late registrations could potentially be down, mainly because we have so many significant number of 5Ks on our platform. So what does it mean? Clearly, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. A lot of volatility may continue on. Prices remain a massive motivator that races can sort of lean on to regrow events and sort of guide registration patterns that you would like to create. So it's up to you to create those. So we're going to run through. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could do that in our post-race survey with the race directors, but I don't know if we would be able to. You start to get into really complex actual database queries to be able to determine outputs of why people didn't and did. Are you up? All right. Pricing strategies. Keys to a successful pricing strategy: keep it simple. Pick a strategy, stick to it. You can do all of them if you really want, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. So I would stick to your specific strategies that you're comfortable with and continue to do those. Make it time sensitive. There's ways to make people respond to deadlines, and if you set deadlines, and this actually can be not just for pricing, you can do it for charities. For instance, with raising money, you can say, hey, you're going to get rewards based on hitting deadlines. Okay, so people really respond to deadlines. Communicate well. Website, email, social, your advertising. It could be, hey, prices are going up, or there's only so many spots left. Strong calls to action are very important. So one of the other ones that I actually love is, if you have multiple races, create one that would actually be your most significant race and make it a loss leader, meaning you don't make profit on it, okay? And you make the swag unbelievable and make it a sellout race. And then you leverage that sellout race to force people to get into that sellout race. They have to do other races. So now all of a sudden you continue to just use that sellout race and abuse it to make them sign up for other races. So time-based price increases. All right. So time-based price increases are pretty easy. As you understand, you're going to set up based on specific times. You can go in. This is an example of a 5K cross-country race. Set different price ranges by dates. And at the bottom, you can actually see where to do that. There's two places: step 3 in the race wizard, or the registration, dates, pricing, and options, if you guys haven't been following. Okay. Also note that the tiles are always going to update by those date ranges. So you do have ways to highlight those price increases coming type of stuff as well. So time-based price increases. This gives you some real data on when people sign up based on those. So as you can see, prices the percentage is basically of less than 3 days and more than 3 days, and the impact. So it's actually become more impactful in 22 than 21, but less impactful compared to 2019. All right, pros and cons. It's expected and easy to understand. So almost everyone in the industry are using time-based or date-based price adjustments. So most of the participants know about it. It does provide motivation for earlier registration. It boosts revenue and cash flow for you if you do it correctly. And then it can also boost revenue on the back end because the procrastinators are going to pay more money. Okay. The cons, price increases, the amounts may not be enough to actually get people to actually sign up when you want them to. So you have to be, it has to be a significant amount of money for them to actually take action. If it's only $3, they may go, well, you know, I'll sign up in another month. And it might be $10 more in another month, and that might be the motivator. Too many price increases may reduce the power of any of them. So if you're doing a price increase every week or every month, that might be too often, and people are just not even going to pay attention because you're over communicating and you're over changing your prices, and therefore there is no real urgency build. The impact may be less reliable with the current volatility, and that's what the stats are showing right now, right? Yes. So that just came up, and we haven't run the stats on that, but we are going to run stats on that and add that to the trends. And we'll try and do an update to our trends report to include that, and then also do a blog post in the next month with something like that. That has come up multiple times. My assumption would be the best time, and Herman and I actually had this conversation, would actually be not day of the week as much as the day of getting paid, right? So you got to realize most people get paid on the 5th of the month, and I think the 20th of the month. So if I were doing it, I would be like, hey, I'm going to go find the 5th or the 20th that happens to be a Tuesday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Why? Because it's the middle of the week, we know has the most registrations, and they get paid. So you know they have the money to pay. And I might consider doing that price adjustment sort of right after they get paid versus right before. Account-based pricing, so it's sort of like airplane model. You know, the first 25 people get a discount. So with that, you know, this is an example. It updates the price after 100 people to $10, updates the price after 500 to 20, and 1,000 to 30. This actually does work. And the way that I've seen it actually work is not always with pricing alone, but instead with a swag offering. So the first 500 people that sign up for a race would get a blanket or a towel or something like that. So you don't have to necessarily have custom pricing. It might just be that you're trying to give away something additional. That's another way of looking at it, but this is for pricing. Pros and cons: it encourages early registration, great for aggressive registration launches. I actually would recommend it for a startup event because you have no one that is in your database right now. It's a good way to go, hey, you know what? I'm going to give away the farm to try and get a whole bunch of people to sign up. Okay. It creates buzz around registration. So what you're really trying to do is go and have buzz for the launch of registration to get a whole bunch of people to sign up, right? So you're not just doing this on a whim and creating this, but instead you're trying to create real buzz around the launch of your event registration. If the race sells out, it's easier to predict the accurate income from registrations. So this is one way of doing that as well. If you have a sellout race. Cons: it can lead to a lot of frustration when pricing blocks sell out. So now all of a sudden they didn't get into that cheaper price, so they get frustrated. Can be hard to gauge the correct cadence on price to quantity of tickets that you want or registrations that you want to give away at that price. And then limits the ability to drive registrations at specific times. So you don't control when those people are going to sell out those blocks. So it can cause you to go, well, I really now need to switch to time-based. So there's that issue as well.
And I'm going to go through some of the discounting options that we have that you can take advantage of to help get more participants. So normally first is age-based pricing. A lot of adults don't want to pay full price for their child. So with age-based pricing, you can just set it to something as 0 to 12, and automatically anybody under the age of 12 is going to get this set pricing. We recently added a new feature. So now that if you look in the red box up there, you'll see that the age-based pricing shows on the event tile. Before, it did not do that. It was kind of hidden within registration. You had to click something to see it, but now it's right on the main page. This way your participants are going to know, oh, my kids are cheaper, so I can bring them along when they typically might not. Also, there's an option that you can have a no giveaway. So if you're making it really cheap for the kids, maybe $5, $10 for them, and it'll actually cost you money to give them a shirt, you can check the box, and they're just not going to get asked for their shirt size based on their age. Here's kind of a breakdown of how the age ranges are for the registrations over the years. As you can see, it's the 40 through 49 crowd is pretty much taking 20%. 30 through 39 is also up there, and then it kind of trickles out through the rest. Some of the pros and cons. Pros, it engages family. It makes it more of a family event. You create a better culture for your race. Some cons about it, you are making it a little cheaper per participant if you're really looking to get as much revenue as possible for your race.
I'd add also that you don't have to, with the new setup now that we have, because you can display age-based pricing, you don't have to have a separate event to show the age-based pricing, right? So now you guys have a lot easier setup. It's one event, and it's now going to display those age-based pricing. So a lot of you were probably setting up 2 events to display it.
Coupons. So coupons, it's discount giving, but we're going to go over some numbers that show that coupons are actually a great revenue generator. Something else I like to do with the coupons is tie them into the incomplete registration email. Pretty much as if somebody begins registering and they stop for whatever reason, a few days later, they'll get an email just saying, hey, notice you stopped registering. You can complete it here. You throw on a little 10% discount or something to give them a little extra motivation to go back and register, because sometimes they might not. And then with the coupons, you have some options. You can set it by a cart total. You can do it at a discount per registrant or discount per registrant per event. So if you have one of those events where somebody can select multiple, you can do it like that. And then with the coupons, you can edit it. So let's say you don't want to give a discount on your add-ons, or if somebody's already getting multi-person pricing, something like that, or age-based pricing, it's going to prevent double dipping. And then also we just have more advanced settings, so you can limit it to only new customers for your race. Can use that coupon. The cart must be over X amount of dollars. So if you do have like a bigger coupon amount, but they need to spend a certain amount, you can do that, and it just prevents your coupons from being abused. So if you look here, some of the return on investment numbers for those using coupons. So if you look in the net revenue from coupons, they're pretty high up. So coupons are a big generator in getting people to register. Some of the pros and cons for the coupons: they're on the fly, flexible. They're fun. So like you can do special day of the weeks or trends for your race, something that could relate with the coupon codes to make it more. The cons is sometimes coupons do get abused, people sharing them with their friends. That's why it's great to just put limits on them. So memberships. So we have our basic memberships in here. Something else is great for using memberships. I see a lot of people ask, oh, do you have a discount if somebody is a firefighter or a police officer or something like that? You can create a custom membership here, and all you just need to do is set the price adjustment to a negative amount to give a discount. So normally you'll see it if an event works with schools or something like that, they'll give the teachers a discount in the area, but most of the time, firefighters, police, EMTs, things like that is where you can set a custom membership up. For this, you can also hide the membership discount, just so nobody just clicking through and just saying, oh, they're getting a $5 discount. I'm going to say that I am one. And then pros and cons. It builds credibility. So like the police and stuff, they're noticing, oh, we're getting a discount to participate in your race. They may be a little nicer to your participants. We know that the police firefighters, they're not always the nicest to those running, because sometimes they don't want to be out there working your event on a Saturday. So if they show that you're working with them, they'll probably be a little easier working with you. It can complicate it. It adds another step in a registration doing that. But I don't see it taking up much time. We also have a club membership discount. So if you do have a club, this is a great way to also incentivize people registering for your race to join your club. You can set it up so that if somebody is registering, they can be asked if they want to join the club during registration. If you do give a club membership discount, this is another plus where you would set it up at. So with that, so when going through registration, is going to ask them a question: would you like to join the Knoxville Track Club, for example? And then when they're going through registration, they're going to get your membership level, so they could just select them. So this way, they're not going to have to leave your registration for your race to go register for the club, come back to get the discount. It'll all flow, and they'll still get the discount if they are signing up new for your club. Pros and cons of this: it's cross promotion for your club and your races, and it's all in one place, so they don't have to leave registration in. It is going to add another step, overhead to deal with, lapsed memberships, unlinked accounts. Those are little things that you have to deal with. But normally if that happens, just reach out to your account manager and we can get it switched a lot faster than trying to, hey, have your participant go here, claim their club membership, link it to their profile, and a bunch of extra steps that they don't want to do.
So if you aren't a club, you still can use the club discounting. So if you're a larger race organization and you put on a whole bunch of events in the area, we have 1,500 clubs using our platform right now. So it is actually possible for you to take and implement club discounts. First I'd search to see what are the clubs on our platform, which is available in that user interface. Find the ones that you know are in your local area. Call up some of the board members and see if they'd be willing to promote your race. If you offered a discount, what that discount would need to be for them to help promote it. And now all of a sudden, those club members that are signing up for your race are getting a discount in association with their membership at the local running club or triathlon club for that matter.
Pricing for group participation. So there's a few different ways that you could do group pricing. I'll just go through a few. So multi-person pricing. So normally this is set up for family pricing. So if you want to give a family of 4 or 5 or certain range, you could just set the numbers of members, and you could just set that price to a price total, or you could just do a discount. Normally we'll see that if you have 3 or 4 people, 3 or more registering at a time, we'll give a $5 discount per person or things like that. Pros and cons of this is with the pros for it. Is going to encourage larger groups to participate. So this way somebody knows, oh, I get a $5 discount if I get 2 more people to register with me. They're more likely to reach out to their friends to try to get them to register. The cons with this is that everybody's going to have to register at the same time. So if it is 5 or more people that you need to get a discount, that one person is going to have to get all 5 people's information and enter it. So that could be a little tedious for them. And then we have groups and team pricing. A lot of people say, why would we do groups and teams? A third of participants want to participate with friends. It's extra motivation to grow a group size and expand your funnel. Groups lead to better race day experiences because it makes it more of a social event. You get a team name, so you get to run together with your friends. Some groups come out, they have their own t-shirts and everybody's matching and running together, and it makes it a great fun. And if you look, you'll see that over the years that there are a decent amount of participants registering in groups. So with the group pricing, it can be done 2 different ways. I normally recommend just having the captain pay. This way you get your money up front. So the captain will come register, pay for the team, and the other team members can register for free. This makes it easier also if somebody needs to drop from a team. Since the captain pays, the other participants aren't paying any money to join. So there's no refunds needing to be issued or anything like that. And then if somebody does drop and the team is having trouble filling it, you still got your money for the team up front. kind of covered the pros and cons with that. But pros, it just makes it easier to add and drop members from a team. The con is one person is going to have to pay that larger amount for the whole team. Another feature we have in it is group size refunds. So what it is that you don't have to give the discount if you are going to give discounting for groups and teams until the discount number is met. So if you say that we're not going to give a discount until there are 4 or 5 people on the team, you can set it so after registrant number 5 gets a discount. And if you look at the wording on the bottom, there's a sentence that'll explain it. Like it says, after registrant 5 joins, registrants 1 through 4 will get a refund. That's going to automatically happen. And you can also set an Insure registration balance. What that's going to do is prevent somebody getting refunded lower than a certain amount. So if you don't want anybody paying less than $20 for your event, you would set your Insure registration balance to $20. So even if they're giving a $5 discount, if somebody registered for $23, they might be using a coupon code. They're only going to get discounted down to $20. It's not going to go below that.
Prevents the double dipping.
With the pros and cons, it's just more motivation. It's like, okay, I can find more friends to register. So now you have your participants doing some marketing for you and pulling in other people to your race that normally might not have showed up. But now that you're giving them a discount, if they get their friends, they're going to do that for you. The refunds are often small amounts that may not provide a lot of motivation because most group teams, you're not giving $10, $15, $20 off of your event for team refunds.
No.
No.
So this would be setting up team refunds would basically say if your team is of 10 people or more, you want to discount the pricing for everyone on that team of 10 or more. Okay. And the referral would be, I'm inviting all my friends, whether they're on my team or not, to sign up. And if you as a person get 5 people, then you get the refund. This is for everyone that's on the team. Pricing for loyalty. I love this part of our industry because there's a ton of loyalty. All right, so multi-event discounts. We do have the ability to offer discounts for multiple events. And therefore, let's say you have a weekend of events, they can sign up for 3 of them and get a discount. That's what this is about. So let's say you have a 5K on Friday, an early race on Saturday, and a late afternoon race on Sunday, and it's all that one same race weekend. You can go in and offer a discount. In this case, it would be 3 events, and they would get a discount of 20% on the screen. And then they would have to run one of the 5K, 5-mile, 10K trail race, 10-mile road race, and half marathon up on the screen, but not the kids run. Okay. With it, they obviously can go in and pick 3 of the events as the screenshot shows, and at that point are going to get the discount. We do not have, so that would be multi-race bundles, which I'll cover next. So the pros and cons, you're trying to maximize participation from a really loyal base. With it, you're trying to encourage these super fans that already love to come out to do more than one of your events, and therefore you're increasing revenue with them traveling one time to one race. It does have a limited impact in some ways as well, because there's not a lot of people that want to run 5 events, let's say. Limited group that is likely to do those. It does not help grow the funnel because it's one person that's going to be doing 3. You're not really capturing new audience. All right, multi-race bundle. So you can do what you're talking about, which would be setting up a discounted pricing across, let's say, 5 race weekends. And that's what a multi-race bundle would do. So it allows you to set up pricing that can be discounted per or a fixed amount. So I've seen all of it. And then it can have different date ranges for those pricing. Okay. I personally love the multi-race bundles. it allows you to do cross-selling. So a good example is, like I was talking about earlier, build a sellout race. You build a sellout race, you can now do a multi-race bundle, and you basically require them to enter 3 other races to get into the sellout race. And then you can cap that and say, well, you know, we're still wanting others that aren't going to do 3 other races. So you're going to have 500 people that can get in through the bundle, and then 500 that don't have to do the bundle. So it's great cross-selling for organizations that have a whole bunch of races. It builds loyalty for your race organization, and you can create camaraderie and shared success between local races. So that would be like joint ventures. We do have like a series of bridge runs that are all owned by different organizations, and they're going to bundle theirs together, and they're going to do a medal. You can do the same thing. You can do medals along with it. So you could do your standard pricing or a higher price point. You could do a lower price point. There's a lot of different ways to sort of bundle these together and create challenges for participants to try and accomplish 3 races or 5 races. It can be a little bit of a headache with our accounting right now. We know that it's something that we're going to address in 2023. One of the reasons why we moved to Adyen was to be able to address this and be able to do better accounting for our multi-race challenges and bundles. It can be a little bit confusing in communications as well, but that's up to you to how to communicate those bundles and what to do. So loyalty pricing, we have a whole loyalty program. I highly recommend using it. It doesn't have to be pricing sensitive. You can still do loyalty based and then give them something like a gold bib, as simple as that. But in this case, we're talking loyalty pricing. You're going to go in and create a loyalty list. You're going to then be able to do loyalty date range based pricing with that and select the list. So in this case, it says test. So you're going to say everyone that's in that test list would get pricing from May 10th to the 23rd. And that's how you're sort of setting up the pricing. Pros and cons, build super fast, super fans through the powerful like uniqueness that they're loyal to your organization, right? And encourage this loyalty to your organization, because now all of a sudden they're unique and they're getting this special loyalty program that you're offering, okay? Communicating the process for claiming the reward could be difficult. If you don't want to do specific price dates, you can use a reserved entry code with that loyalty list. And now they have a unique URL that you're sending them that doesn't interfere with everyone else and their registration process. So that's another way to accomplish that. It does not expand the funnel again. You know, if you're trying to attract new participants, this is simply a way to regain and recapture participants that may not have done a race for the last 2 years, but you know they're loyal. They've done 5 races in the last 10 years, and you're trying to recapture them and regrow your events back to 2019. This is one really easy way for you to do that. It does not need to cost you money. Again, a golden bib because they've done it 5 years. It doesn't have to be 5 years in a row because of COVID, but 5 years is an example. I've seen loyalty programs. LA Marathon has one that's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years as an example. You can do multi-tiered as well. Any questions? Yep. So if you don't have enough demand where that price is there, that quantity left is changing even frequently enough in an hour, I would say, right? If you're not getting a registration every hour, then it's probably not going to have a big enough impact, right? you need to have enough demand for tiered based or cap based pricing for it to change, for them to actually go. Now, there are tricks to that, which is you change the price, the number, and you can change it and change it back, right? So now all of a sudden people think that the number's going down, and the reality is not a lot of people know, right? The one thing that I would point, the reason why I went back to this slide is if you see complete all three distances, that's not just for multi-race discounts and bundles. You can do these event tile highlights. I would always recommend doing at least one of your tiles with one of the highlights. It could be the most profitable one for you or the most popular one for you. You choose, but the idea is that you're trying to highlight the one that you want them to sign up for, right? So those are easy ways to sort of influence, and it's the banana in front of the monkey idea. You're trying to get them to click on that one. So that is one of the easy ones. You can also put on these same things, you can put, you know, logos and images and stuff like that as well. So in 2020, all of our refund cost went to zero. What you're talking about, the automated refunds, we didn't charge at any point. So there's never been a fee associated with referral reward refunds, team refunds, or any of those type of automated refunds. And then in 2020, due to the pandemic, we had so many refunds going out the door that we just simply wiped away the cost of refunds altogether. So even manually refunded participants don't cost anything. Yes, in the back.
So normally with that, we don't have a way to just create an auto-generated code. So what I would suggest is maybe just going to like a random.org or something like that. And then you can just put in how many you need. So you can set the parameters, and then you can just upload all of those codes through for that. But it's still, you're gonna have to customize that email for it. If that's what you were asking, that kind of answer your question?
I think I know what you're really asking, which is you would like to only give them one code that they can use one time. My actual recommendation on that is to not do the coupon the first email. So in our incomplete registration and all of our automated email capabilities, you can add as many as you want. I would do an incomplete registration email 1 to 2 days after that is not discounted. And then maybe like 15 days later or 20 days later, you send them one because they're still not in. And that's when you would go, hey, you're not in the race. We know that you're interested. Here's this special coupon of $5 or $10 off or a percentage off. That way you're not giving away money. You're giving them maybe 2 or 3 weeks to sign up, and now all of a sudden they're not. Any other questions? Five minutes left. Yeah.
So
Event details?
in the dashboard, in the top left, there's a search. If you type in event display options, yes.
And then I think it's called event highlight. You can also add details and stuff like that as well, but the event highlight, I believe, is what it's called.
We can pull it up for you when we're done.
Any other questions? So a lot of this is built on economics and scarcity. So really the idea is that you're trying to make this special with your pricing, right? So you have to earn that discount a lot of times. So keep that in mind. You shouldn't be giving away the farm. Instead, it should be something special that they're getting because they had 10 people on the team. Now everyone gets a discount. Or in the referral program, they got 5 referrals to you, so therefore they're getting a discount or a refund or swag. Whatever that is, you're trying to build incentives for them to do actions that drive revenue back to you. And it needs to be some form of limiting of exclusivity so that not everyone in the event is getting that, right? So when you do this, you can actually do it in coordination with. So the team sizes, I've actually seen events that don't give a huge discount, but instead their discount is in the form of a tent for the largest team at the VIP tent section or something like that, right? So there's a lot of different ways to incentivize. It has to be exclusive, otherwise you're not going to really drive a lot of action, right? And it has to be reward enough that they feel like they need to take action. So there's that happy middle ground that you have to find in each event. I can keep on rambling, but there's like 3 minutes left.
I think we're all right.
It shows every time we discount one thing to another. So somebody did 10 races that might say 39 on there, you know, because they downgraded from the Olympic trend or moved from one thing to another. Every single hit on there, it's counted.
Can you show me where that is so that we'll do a ticket and make sure that inactive registrations don't count? Because that would be an inactive registration. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys.